for the intro, and thanks VRAR Chicago also for the event. It's a great opportunity to talk with the whole VR scene and any new person that's interested in VR. So a little bit about what we're doing at Simtryx, right? Yes.
Sorry, can I interrupt you for 1 second, Hector?
Yeah.
Why don't you come on up to the stage and you can stand right over
Oh,
here and I'll go
that's
stand
right.
in the
Let me go out to the stage.
There you go. Awesome. Thank you. And like I said, you can always flip your head or your mouse over if that's easiest. So you can go ahead and look at the slides. Thanks.
Perfect. So, okay, so in Simtryx, right? So we've been building Simtryx the past year and a half. We really saw the opportunity with the mixed reality headsets and the advent of current day AI to really challenge the way that healthcare simulations were being built and developed and in the space. So really our goal here was to make the most immersive healthcare simulation in the most accessible headset that you could get, right? No more high-end PCs to try to do a VR patient simulation. Right now, we're using the Quest 3s to have the most accessible simulation that you can get in healthcare, right? And a little bit about our features, right? In the next slide, I think there you go. So again, what makes our technology so immersive? It's the mix of the following technologies. So first off, we're using mixed reality, which really makes the most accessible experience, right? A lot of people, they used to be maybe nauseous in VR. Usually that doesn't happen to the hardcore users, like a lot of people here in the meeting, right? But you know, doctors, nurses that have never used VR, mixed reality really does a lot for them to be eased into the VR space. Also, our hand tracking technology with physics allows you to touch any part of the patient, and the patient will react to you pushing or pulling their body, which makes it so much more immersive and makes it a possibility for you to do a lot of physical exams without needing gloves. And then with AI, you can really do a back and forth interaction with patients, which adds so much to you to understand their diagnosis. And finally, the MR multiplayer really does bring people together in our simulation. So that's what we built with Simtryx, and that's why also I would love for you guys to demo it later, so you can also give me your feedback about our technology. Yeah. So yeah, I'll be really happy to talk a bit more about the medical space in VR. There's a video. I'm not sure if it will play in frame.
Yeah, it'll.
It should. It did.
Did you want me to roll the video?
Yeah, sure.
I'm feeling a bit worse today.
All this is first-person view.
How come? What's happening? I'm going to listen to your heart.
All right, please go ahead. I'm ready.
You can see here the physical hand.
Hi, how are you feeling?
I'm feeling pretty anxious due to the chest pain and shortness of breath.
So does it hurt here?
Yes, it hurts in my chest, especially when I breathe deeply.
Also change real time depending on your actions.
Breathe deep.
Okay. Yeah, and well, there are some key takeaways about our work in Simtryx, but kind of like what I was mentioning, right? To us, accessibility was number one. As you saw, all the technology that you saw in the video and you can try is working on the most accessible headset on the market, the Quest 3S. I think it's only $300 retail value. So it makes it so much easier to get to access, and mixed reality really does a lot for user experience. Also, asynchronous doesn't mean that means that you don't need a teacher on the other side to guide you through a simulation. It's all through the AI. You can do the back and forth, all of it through the comfort of your own home or in whatever space you can meet, right? And also, to us, multiplayer was a big focus from day one. Doing multiplayer mixed reality is a challenge, but to anyone that's experimenting right now, we use spatial anchors for that. You can check that out in the SDK of Meta. Pico also has that. That is a way of locating different users inside a mixed reality space. And all of this really is for our goal, which is to democratize simulations. That's why some of our clients are in the U.S., but in something that we really push for, a lot of our clients are also in Latin America. Latin America, a lot of those universities don't even have the funds for a big mannequin deployment, right? Those cost a lot of money. But with XR, now you can have a lot of students that wouldn't have access to simulation otherwise to now do it in a very, very immersive way in their simulation lab in their universities. So that's more or less our goal in Simtryx, and that's how we were achieving it through the power of XR, AI, and the technology that is available to us, right?
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. So I wanted to ask, let me just come right up onto the stage here. I wanted to ask for those folks, because, people talk about mixed reality. I think it's important, especially since we're talking about a healthcare audience, that can you describe what mixed reality means? I mean, I've worked with it, but I think it's helpful to kind of describe the difference between, let's say, working with some sort of platform that is not mixed reality versus mixed reality. And then the other part is the collaboration part, because I find that really interesting that you don't need to have a teacher or professor to do this. So would you just address those two, just kind of unpack those a little bit?
Yeah, I think all that goes back to our guiding word, which was options. We always want to give our clients options. So mixed reality works great if you have a professor, a teacher right by your side, because not only will you hear him as you would do in VR, but now you can see him because it's mixed reality, right? You have the camera pass through. So you can have your teacher being right next to the patient, and he will guide you, explain to you, talk to you while you're doing the actual work. But if you don't have the professor or the teacher right there, and our client actually wants to use Simtryx for, let's say, the students use it in their own spare time, that also works perfectly too, because the AI guides you through the conversation. You don't need anyone standing next to you. You can do that back and forth without anyone clicking on the answers of the patient on the other side, which is how healthcare simulations have been working for quite some time before AI. So it's all about vision.
Right, and I imagine that once AI becomes more integrated in these platforms, that there'll be also great ways to save sessions and to save work, just like you would with studying, which to me would be amazing, right? To save those instances, so then you can go back and refer if you're studying for, the MCATs, or you're studying for the bar, whatever other, testing that you're doing. That's pretty valuable. You mentioned too that, and I have come across many Latin American founders, and I find that in Latin America, there's a big openness to technology. Can you speak a little bit more to what you're seeing in those countries in terms of adoption? Do you think that they are more advanced in terms of their readiness, or just because they're driven by the sheer savings of education in this way?
Yeah, that's a great deal. Latin America is its own beast. as in there are a lot of countries in Latin America. You will see that some universities obviously they don't even think about deploying this, right? But in every country, you have a couple of leading universities that they always fashion themselves after, being very technology driven, very innovation driven, but to a point in which they might not know what are the metrics, how to deploy it, and they just want it. And they need it, and they want to deploy it, and they will deploy it faster than any other American university. Now, that comes to a fault also because if you don't have the correct vendor, the correct company guiding you, then the project might not end up that good and might end up poisoning the well of certain countries' XR ecosystem. So they go sometimes too fast to a fault. Something that we've seen in our years of experience is that obviously Latin America is great for those innovators, but we also have to sometimes reel the scale in of the project and to not have obviously any problems during the way and have a successful project. Once you have one successful project, one of those countries, then it will become a huge use case and it will drive the adoption of the rest of the universities.